Oi! Hello, my name is Uncle Chunt. Welcome to Let's Talk Games, episode 26. It is 11 o'clock at night, and I've had a coffee at 8:30, so I'm ready to go. To your left, you have Dan. To your right, you have Jamie. Say hello, boys.
What's going on, Mr. Chunticus?
So much energy. Fantastic. My heart is just pounding with coffee. As I said, I'm the one and only, thankfully, the one and only Uncle Chunt. So today, we're going to be discussing the Mario 35th anniversary bonanza, and then later we've got the Nvidia GeoForce BF GPU, whatever they want to call it. I like that name. They should just call it that. And Avengers is out. Is it actually good? We'll discuss that and the reception of it. And then later on, we've got Dan, the stats man, who's going to hopefully fill us in with the Sony investor call details. You know, the real fluffy stuff right at the end. So
always the fluff.
I know. So that's what we're going to talk about. But first off, like always, what have we been playing, boys? Dan, I'm going to start with you.
Well, it's still NBA Finals time, and it's still 2K. I'm trying to think if I did play anything else. I think that's that at the moment. I watched a Netflix Mafia documentary this week, and now I've just been wanting to play Mafia so bad, and it comes out in like 3-4 weeks, and I'm really excited for it now.
Nice.
But no, I think it's just 2K. 2K.
That's all right. Let's have a quiet week. You had a big week leading up to your PS4 special feature on the channel.
I did. Yeah, so that just came up. Well, when people see this, a couple of days ago, I released my PlayStation 4 exclusive ranking list. I had a lot of fun. I did it last week after we shot our podcast. I just one take, just went through and talked about all the games and then edited it together, and yeah, it was fun. It was good. You guys should do it.
Totally should. Like I said, it was like Dan talking with surgical precision, dissecting every exclusive game. So it was really good. I watched it while I was at work, between calls, of course. You know, no naughty things. Jamie, over to you. What have you been playing?
I've been playing not very much because I've been waiting for Avengers, and I know that's going to consume a significant portion of my time given the type of game it is. So I've been quite easy on the games this week. Played a bit of Fall Guys earlier in the week just because it's fun and easy to pick up and throw on for half an hour. I've played the first 2 episodes of the second series of the Telltale Batman game. I've been playing that on mobile on xCloud, and then like last night and a little bit this morning, I wanted to get my Solstice armor finished in Destiny because it's the last week for it, and I'd barely done anything. I think I'm about half an hour away from finishing that, so I want to get that done before I kind of sink my teeth into Avengers over the weekend. But quite a low-key gaming week for me. What about yourself, man in the middle?
Nice. Oh my god, there it is. It's never gonna die, is it? Oh look, I've just been playing DC Universe Online. That's basically all I've been doing on both PC and Xbox. I've got 2 different characters, so I'm fully into that game now. It's great. It's that kind of go-to game that I've always wanted, and I'm glad it's back in my life. That's about it. I want to play the Tell Me Why. I know that's got episode 2 out today, but I think I'll wait for the 3rd one. I think there's only 3 chapters, so I think I'll just wait for that till I go through the rest of it. Pretty quiet myself. I mean, playing 2 DC Universe characters on 2 different machines, I mean, that's taken up quite a lot of time. Cool. So that's done. Let's move right on.
I did also play Tell Me Why, by the way.
Oh, you have? Oh, fantastic.
I forgot that. I played the first episode. It's basically the same tone as Life is Strange. I like the story. Nice. It's sad. I mean, I played the first episode the same day we found out about poor old Black Panther. So it was pretty down emotional day anyway. Obviously the Chadwick stuff, and then just having a pretty bum day, and then sat down that evening and went up to play the first episode of this, and it bummed me out even more. It's a really, really good game, but my advice is don't go into it if you're in a bit of a heavy mood. But yeah, you'll enjoy it when you play it. It's very Life is Strange, and we all enjoyed Life is Strange, so
we did.
Yeah. Cool. Sorry to cut your segue off. I'll let you continue it.
For fuck's sake, Jamie. All right, let's get right into it. The major news that I want to talk about it just dropped randomly. I was just about to go to bed last night, and then I flicked open my phone like most morons do when you're supposed to go to sleep. You lie down and open up your phone and go, what's going on since 5 minutes last time I looked at it? I'm like, oh, look, Nintendo Direct dropped. And holy crap, it's got a big 35 on it. They finally dropped it, 35th anniversary of Mario. So the main things that I'm going to talk about, they dropped a lot of news, but half of it's crap I don't really care about. So the main stuff is the Super Mario 3D All-Stars. That first, it has 64, like Mario 64, Sunshine, and Galaxy 1 in there. Super Mario 3D World was another major one. And Super Mario All-Stars, the Super Nintendo version. So I have a problem with that, but I'll circle back to. And then they've listed a whole bunch of other random Mario events throughout, between now and March or something next year. Just, like some random, like Tetris Attack kind of multiplayer Mario thing, which is just a temporary thing. I don't understand what they're doing with that. Anyway, we'll circle back. So you guys, I assume, have found out about all this, and you've either watched the direct or you've read the highlights about it. Worst kept secret, the 3D Mario All-Stars thing, and they just finally said, bugger it, let's drop it. About time. And what do you think about it? Like, there's only 3 games in it. The selection, 2 of them are obvious, but I think there's one serious omission to that lineup, and that's Galaxy 2. Like, I don't know why they just didn't go Mario 64, Sunshine, and Galaxy 1 and 2. My argument is Galaxy 2 is superior to the first one. I really enjoyed that one, but I'll take Galaxy 1. So we'll start off talking about that. Dan, I don't know what your experience is with too much of these older Mario games. I say older, but they're not really. But have you played those? Like, do you have much affinity for those old GameCube and Wii Mario games?
So just to make sure I get it right, what the 3 games again? What are they again? It's
Mario 64, Mario Sunshine, and Galaxy 1.
Yeah. So it sounds like essentially they've gone with just the first game in each of these different franchises rather than necessarily the best game in those different franchises. But I've played 64, haven't played Galaxy or Sunshine. This sounds just more like a regular Nintendo announcement, right? Like, it's stuff that people want, but not quite what they were thinking. Like, it's something where someone looks at it, they goes, "Oh, awesome Nintendo news," and it's like, "Oh, it's not everything I wanted," but you're getting more Nintendo stuff of games that you would have bought already, and you're happy to pay for again because you want to play these games on the Switch because the Switch is the best place to play it. I didn't get too stuck into it. The main thing I took out of this Mario Direct, not Nintendo Direct, it's a Mario Direct. Now, the main thing I took out was that little RC Mario Racer, which I thought was cool. Setting up little tracks around the house. Like, I imagine if I was like 8 years old or something, if I had that as a toy, I'd be having so much fun around my house.
So I think that Mario Kart RC control thing was like a cooler concept, but I think it's going to be one of those things that you'll get and be like, if it works, B, like, is my apartment even big enough to create a track in? Or like, if you've got kids and dogs and crap running around, like, how's that going to work? Cool concept, yeah. At first I was like, damn, that's just such a cool evolution of Mario Kart as a concept, but execution would be the real question on that. But like, Jamie, I know you're a big fan of Mario 64, so does this 3D All-Stars kind of tickle your little bone?
I mean, it does, and as I said to you when the announcement was happening, it doesn't persuade me to then go, oh fuck, I need another Switch, because the Pro model or the second variant or the new Switch, which is being now teased / leaked / coming next year, this will all still work on it. I know you were saying to me there's something there that's limited time and you can only get it, I think it's maybe the physical editions are having limited runs or something, but my main gripe here is not digital. Yeah, it's not what they've announced or releasing, it's the way they've done it. So Galaxy, fine. Sunshine, fine. Mario 64 I think deserved a remake. I think it deserved an
100%.
actual like remaster treatment, as opposed to, I know they've said, oh, it's at a higher resolution. That's not hard to do on this type of hardware, right? It's a really old game. But I'd like to have seen it get polished and not be super polygony, and maybe remade in the Odyssey engine. I think if you were going to do 64, that was the way to do it. And then they could have put that out as a full price retail game and it would have sold gangbusters. What is cool is that they're in the kind of, it's 3 games in one, right? So you're paying like, I'm assuming the price is $60 in America and as everywhere else around the world, and you're getting those 3 Mario experiences. They are 3 of the better ones. The Galaxy series I don't really have any affinity to at all. I didn't really get on with the Galaxy series. Sunshine's brilliant, and 64, as you mentioned, Sean, I've made a point of that's my favourite Mario game ever, so I'd like to have seen it get a bit of a tidy up. The other stuff, the Mario Kart thing I thought was hilarious. I was like, this is great, having a child, you know. I even said to my wife, I was like, yeah, imagine like a few years from now, like he can create his own little track and driver. That's sick, and that's something that I could get behind. But like you guys said, just how well does it work? A lot of that type of gimmicky stuff that Nintendo does, to be fair to them, tends to work. It's just people forget about it quite quickly. I mean, look at that Ring Fit thing. It was out of stock everywhere for months and months and months. So this kind of stuff does appeal to people. They know that. The same with the Labo kits. You couldn't get them for love nor money when they first came out. So that's why they keep doing stuff like this. A lot of the SNES things and the old school Mario game. Chunt, I know you've got some issues there that I'll leave for you to mention. But yeah, it's just nice to see Mario getting these things now getting caught up with the later generations. And I just hope that, as we said, if we get another Switch console or an evolution of it, these purchases better be cross-platform and they better come with us, because I, for one, like I'm sure you are, Chunt, I'm fed up of buying Mario games on every single Nintendo platform that I have. I think I've got about 6 copies of Mario 64 across all Nintendo platforms I've ever owned. So, you know, it's cool, it's good. It's not going to make me buy a new one. I'm hanging out for that Pro variant, and that'll be me and Nintendo until that happens. What about you?
For a second, I swore you were going to say it's good to see Mario get his time in the spotlight, and I was going to be like, "What are you talking about?"
Mario is the spotlight. He is. Yeah.
Well, look, I pre-ordered Mario All Stars, 3D All Stars, whatever it is, because physically and digitally it's limited, so they're only doing so many copies physically until X amount. I think it's like March or something. I can't remember, but when that time comes along, they'll be delisting the digital copy as well, which is just like,
that doesn't make any sense.
Yeah, why the hell would you do that? You know, I understand maybe physically there's only so many that you're going to produce, but not having it up there digitally for everybody to get whenever I don't know. I guess it's like, well, if you want it bad enough, you'll just get it already, and we'll have this fake FOMO kind of thing happening to just inflate interest. Yeah, it's such bullshit. But like Mario 3D World, I missed that. That was like gated onto the Wii U, and they finally bring it over. It was one of the mainline Mario games I've always wanted to play, so I pre-ordered that as well. Now the Super Mario All Stars for this SNES one, that's locked behind Nintendo Online, so that's another one where I'm just like, what the fuck? Just let me buy the damn thing. Otherwise, I'll just stick to my emulated copy, you asshole. You know, I want to give you my money, but I don't want to have to pay to play a 16-bit game online. I just think it's just so dumb. And I'll use Dan's word, egregious. That's his word of the month. That didn't make sense at all. I don't agree with that whole NES app and this NES app that they've got, and it's locked behind their subscription. That's just a massive rant that I want to say, but they did acknowledge Galaxy 2 in Nintendo's Twitter post online, where they had a screenshot of every like 3DS, Wii, and Wii U and Switch game, had all their covers and game cases on there, and you can kind of see Galaxy 2 just kind of squished in there somewhere. So I don't know why they're just not, you know, you're giving Mario 3D World its own release. Why not just put Galaxy 2 out there if you don't want to throw it on the 3D All Stars? Whatever. That's just Nintendo, man. They're like Dan said, they do all this cool stuff, but then it's like just a lot of WTF moments in there. But look, it's going to make a lot of Nintendo fans happy. I'm already like, well, I've just pre-ordered 2 new games. I guess I'm going to have to buy a new Switch soon. But like Jamie, I'm just going to wait for the new one. the 3D World doesn't come out until 2021 sometime, so I got plenty of time to wait. But yeah, I mean, that was pretty exciting. I think everybody knew that was coming, and now we're getting it. So, and they're getting a third Switch out of me eventually. So hip hip hooray! But yeah, look, I think we've talked enough about Mario. Mario's good. Everybody wants Mario. I'm gonna have my own little Mario console. Just that's all that's going to be played on it. I'm probably going to buy Odyssey and shit again. But from going to the Switch side of the world, and now we're going over to another part of the world that I'm just tipping my toes into now, which is the PC universe, and Nvidia doing a GeoForce thing. And I'm going to transition this to Jamie because there's a whole bunch of like numbers and letters that are associated to this big block of super technology. And Jamie, transition to you now. Talk about the BF GPU and all the intricacies and excitement.
Yeah, the big fucking GPU, right? So Nvidia basically blown everybody's socks off this week. A lot of the commentary around these new devices kind of leading into this event, we're all anticipating something good, but not this good. So a lot of the commentary that you'll have seen, since the announcement is like, it is quite amazing and like, wow. And this is, even the big channel, the digital foundries, the Linus Tech Tips, all these big kind of tech deep dive channels are like mind blown. And a few people in the industry obviously got to go out and see them as well, and have kind of confirmed that this is next gen PC gaming. And it just dumps and blows the console completely out of the water. And it's like, oh, Sony and Microsoft are doing these great things, but here, we're going to release before you guys, and we're going to be significantly more powerful to the point of, a factor of 3 for 1 in some cases. So yeah, we got the 3070, 3080, and 3090. They've dusted their naming convention of having a 80 Ti. That is what the 90 is now, is the Ti variant. And for price and stats and how this looks, in terms of performance, 2080 Ti was this generation's kind of pinnacle, and that's what you needed to really kind of push and drive, plus 60 frames a second at 4K with max textures in most games. Some were a bit too demanding even for the 2080 Ti, but that cost, I think for you guys, I think that was a $2,400 graphics card. And I think it was $1,100 here, and probably something similar in the States, around $1,100, $1,200. So that card is now being surpassed and is being outperformed by the 3070 variant, which will start at $499, which is nuts. That kind of performance for that kind of price. I think that's one reason you guys aren't getting these Founders Edition cards. As we touched on in our chat earlier, your consumer law allows you to just return things within sort of 6 months window, just for no obligation, no questions asked. Customer's always right. You can return something. You can say they don't test anything. It's defective. It's this. It's that. I want to take it back. You wander in and take back your 2080 Ti that you spent $2,500 on a month ago, and all of a sudden you can put that money towards a 3090 and have 3 times the computing performance. So major powerful cards. Something that wasn't really mentioned across these conversations is the fact that you do need PCIe 4 in your computer to run it, which Dan, I think you're the only one of the three of us actually has PCI 4 lanes. Not that you're going to go out and wax $2,500 on a 3090, but yeah, you would need to upgrade a motherboard if you were running something older to get the best benefit out of these new cards. But I mean, I'm keen to get your guys' kind of opinion. Like mine's set. I'll move to a 3090 sometime next year probably. Unless they're releasing a 40 series next year, I'll probably wait for that. But there's usually 2 years between those mainline cards. But to see people coming out of the event, I'm taking you both watched it. The guys at Kind of Funny were obviously in that testing pool. And there's some other quite big YouTubers that were invited along to do that as well. And they're sat there saying like, this is like effectively a Disneyland experience. Like it doesn't feel like consumer tech, but it is, and it's working, and it's all running in one PC. What do you think that kind of means for this generation of console gaming going forward?
Oh, I'll jump in. So, look, it's great, and yeah, they're expensive and super powerful, but for me, it's like, well, for the cost of one of those cards, I can get both the Xbox Series X and PS5, and a Switch, you know, or the next Switch that comes out, and I don't have to bother about any other PC parts, because yeah, the card is super powerful, but then you need the RAM, the motherboard, a CPU, and all that kind of crap on top. So it's like, I mean, I guess if you can throw $2,500 at the card, what's another, you know, 800 or something for the rest of the PC? It's totally out of my world. It's not my universe that I live in. I can only imagine what it'd be like to throw that kind of money around on GPU. But man, I looked into it. I watched some demos, and it's impressive as all hell. You know, if you could just buy the card and then plug it up to a TV and just go, you know, unfortunately, that's not how it works. I've seen a lot of funny memes going around the internet about that kind of stuff with these comparisons to consoles. But yeah, look, if it was my world and that money was fine, yeah, I'd be ordering one, 100%. You know, that'd be great, just to be able to play everything and just melt my face constantly. That'd be just great. But alas, I'm going to be one of those poor plebs with a Series X. Oh, you know, cry for me. Dan, how do you feel about it?
Well, I'll be a poor pleb with you, because we won't have any money left after we buy the console.
Oh,
But,
yes.
yeah, PC's not my world. Jamie, with his seductive ways, got me to build this one, and it's going to hold me together for a long time. Looking at those graphics and the display, and seeing everything that they can do and all the specs behind it, it's like when you hear that the government is building this new awesome highway, and then they tell you it's going to be done in 2030, and you're like, oh well, I can't wait to drive on that in 10 years, but like, it doesn't really do anything to me right now. That's kind of how I feel going through it. But it is the same as what Chun said. It is the thing of, once you have the PC, you can see the individual parts as like, I'll spend this amount just for this part, because you can slowly just continue to upgrade whatever PC you have. But yeah, it is not quite apples to apples when like you're comparing that part to a whole console, which is made up of everything. Like, it's like, okay, but build the PC for the same cost, and you can't, because obviously that's how Microsoft and Sony make their money off building these things. But like, it's hugely impressive and it's awesome, but as I said, it's a thing where I'm like, I can't wait to have one of those in 12 years or whatever it is.
Yeah.
There is a massive kind of discrepancy between how these things are pitched to people, and it is a case of, look, if you've built a machine in the last year, you probably can just buy that GPU, whack it in, and you're off to the races. But most people who've built a PC in the last year at that high end have just bought a 2080 or a 2080 Ti and gone, oh, for God's sake, like this is significantly higher performance. I think for me, the big takeaway in terms of what they've done on a technical level, this hasn't been done since 2004, right? There hasn't been a graphics card leap like this since 2004, where the performance of their top tier card from the previous generation is being absolutely stomped on by the lowest tier card from the new generation. So that's something to take away with kind of what they're doing for it. I mean, 8K gaming, yeah, I'll see you there in 15 years, because that's just not a thing yet. Like, it's not. Like, people are still struggling to get to 4K. Do you know what I mean? Like, talk to us about 8K when we've hit 4K 240 frames a second and it's accessible at $400 or $500, and we'll move from there. I mean, for me, that was what I looked at. You've got the PlayStation 5 in the Series X. I would have possibly foregone my Series X, traded in my 2080 and got a 3090, but in looking into what I needed to do for it, it's like, oh wait, no, I actually do need a new motherboard because I've only got PCI 3 lanes. So it's like, right, that adds another 200 to this, and then what else do you need to do? Well, if I'm doing that, I may as well also change out the CPU, and that's another 200, and it's like, all of a sudden you've got to build half a PC, and it's like, nah, I'll wait for the next gen Ryzen chips and a price drop in the 30 range, and then I'll look at it sometime in the next year. But that's computer gaming for you. I mean, at least they're saying something, right? At least they came out and had an event and told people prices and release dates and all that kind of stuff, and they only needed one event to do it.
That's true.
So 100%. Yep. Yeah.
I'll let you move us on, Chun. I've got nothing else to say about it.
Oh, look, PC gamers everywhere are, rubbing it in our faces, that's for sure. But let's just bring it down to more of the plebeian levels that are playing on consoles still, because the console game that came out that still actually works on PCs as well, called Avengers. It's a small game. Nobody really knows about it, but it came out this week, and apparently it's reviewing all right, or people are enjoying it. So I don't know if you guys have heard about this game. I know I mean, we've all got it. So I haven't actually played it today. I installed it on my PC during my breaks, and I just let my PC off in the corner to do its thing. It's installed. I just haven't touched it yet. Can you guys fill me in on this game? Like, what are people saying about it? Like, Dan, do you know anything about this? Can you fill me in?
Apparently, it's Earth's mightiest game. Has some characters we may have heard about. I actually did exactly the same thing, Chunt. As soon as I finished work at 5, I pressed the download button and went away and watched a couple of movies with the missus, came back in here to record, and it was done. I was like, okay. So I guess that's what I'm doing tomorrow. No, apparently the reviews are really positive, and I think what has pushed people over the line is they're talking about the campaign of the game and how even that tutorial, which we all played the beta, that tutorial section where you go over the bridge, there's actually parts before it and parts after it with Kamala that set up her origin in a way that is really appealing to people, and people are really appreciating and liking, and that gives me a little more hope as someone that was really nervous about the single player stuff, because it sounds like that's where they're actually bringing their experience from like the Tomb Raider games into this, and I'm like, oh, thank God for that. Still sounds like to get the full experience you need to experience it with your friends, so I guess you're my friends, so I might be playing a game or two with you.
Oh, that's awfully generous of you. No worries. Yeah, look, I'll hand it over to Jamie for his impressions of what he thinks of how this is reviewing. I mean, I'll give my thoughts afterwards.
Yeah, I've tried to not look at it from a too much of a campaign point of view, because like these games, as I've said, are usually, for me, it's the looter shooter aspect. It's the grind and it's the fun to be had with it. I'm happy to see that a lot of the kind of epic gear, some of the costumes are not locked behind the paywalls. That you can get pretty rad looking stuff, which I've also tried to steer away from because I don't want it spoiled. But I did see Captain America's kind of end game, not the film, like end game is in the end of the game, armor in a screenshot, and it's like, wow, that looks cool. I bet you have to pay money for that, and you don't. It's part of his. So each hero's got kind of icon mission. It's like side missions, but you'll play 3 or 4 missions as that hero, and that's their icon pathline. And when you finish it, you get a shit ton of experience, you get some rare gear, and you get an epic piece of cosmetics. So quite cool to see them doing that. People are also starting to say that when you dial it up to the hardest difficulty and play with friends, it actually requires some teamwork, which I'm happy about. That's positive for this type of game. And the other thing I've seen is just the sheer amount of content that's there. People are complaining about the, Dan, your word, egregious microtransactions. But for the most part, it seems like what you're getting for the price of entry, given the amount of missions that are there, the heroes that are there, the battle passes for all of the original heroes are all free and included. So you've got a bunch of content to work through. It seems like it's turning people around a little bit. I think some of the more challenging things are going to come for this game down the line when they do start releasing new heroes. And yeah, okay, the hero's free. But, if you want to play that battle pass, you have to pay the price of admission or have earned the in-game currency to be able to pay nothing for it, which it's worth noting. Once you max out a character card, you have earned back basically one entire, what do they call them? Punch cards. So if, say, Hawkeye gets released and he comes out, so I want his battle pass, I'm going to go get his battle pass, and I don't have to spend any money on it because I've earned the coins back or whatever their currency is. I'm not too sure at the minute, just by playing the game. So that's great. If you've got 6 of those and then the next 6 heroes release and you've finished all 6 of your characters, you don't effectively have to spend any money. So that's pretty cool for people who don't want to invest any more than the kind of price of admission alone. But yeah, I'm just keen to start playing it. As you said, we've all got a copy. All we're going to play on PC. Hopefully we get to play together a little bit, and I'm keen to get started on it. It's just in case it doesn't unlock in the UK until kind of later in the day. So yeah, happy to see what it's all about, and I'm very pleased it's getting good reviews. Chunticus.
Yeah. All right. I was surprised actually. I was literally expecting this to come out and everybody just shit on it, because just the vibe of it coming up to like every reveal, everyone's like, "Oh, that war room was cool," but then you lull down and everybody starts thinking about it again and just picking it apart, and everybody's like, "Oh, I don't know about this game," and a couple of negative reviews that I kind of check in with these reviewers every now and then just to see how they think about a game, and they didn't like it. But then on Twitter and socials, everybody's like, "Yeah, this game a lot of fun. Like the campaign in particular is very much worth doing." And that alone, when I heard those kind of responses about the campaign, kind of settled it for me. Where I was like, "All right, I'll go in a bit more positive, knowing that at least the campaign portion of it is something worth playing." But yeah, look, I saw some of those screenshots on like thumbnails and stuff, Captain America as well, which I didn't want spoiled for me, but it kind of got me thinking of like, I could see myself kind of doing his thing, as much as I hate doing that grinding stuff and like, just working through a battle pass, and I don't have time and whatever. But I like Captain America in the Avengers roster that they have. He's probably the only one I'm really interested in doing it. So knowing that he's got one, it's like, all right, I'll give it a go. I'm feeling a bit more positive about it, and I wanted to play it this afternoon as soon as I clocked off work, but I wanted to walk away from my computer, so I just been on it at work all day. So I went off and had some dinner and watched 3 episodes of The Boys, and then this happened. I was going to play Avengers tonight, but I'll do it tomorrow. But yeah, I think we're all on the same page with that. That's all we're going to be doing this weekend as far as giving it a whirl. So yeah, look, I think the whole story of this game's launch and coming out, it's ended in a good place, and it's got its fan base already, and it's gonna do very well. So who knows, man? If I like it, I might end up picking it up on Xbox after all, and just totally been a complete hypocrite. Like my brother has an Xbox now, and he's a big Marvel fan. So I'm like, oh god, like if I kind of get it for like our birthday or something, which is this month, and then maybe he can share my account and we can both play it, because we're separated by states. It'd be something good just to kind of play together and stuff. So,
and you do know you can do that, John, right? Just so this conversation never goes away and I don't tell you about it. If you add him as a family member to your Xbox Live account, you can share all of your purchases with him for free.
Yep. Yeah, we're going to do that. He's got a month of Game Pass at the moment. He's just going to work through, and once he's done with that, he's going to piggyback off my account, and we'll just do that.
Yeah. I did it with a friend who then logged in and went, "Why do I have 400 games?" I was like, "You don't." I was like, I've got a lot.
Yeah, no, that's cool. So I think that's what we're going to end up doing. So I'm looking forward to that. So yeah, cool. All positives. So something like extra positive and extra exciting that we're really going to just jump right into now. That's the main reason people clicked on this video and stayed with us the whole time, is Dan, the stats and numbers man, is going to run us through some very crucial information about Sony and their investor call. All right, Dan, take it away. We're all gripped.
Well, I'll only touch upon some points. One thing, probably not today, but they're talking about in here about Sony, looking at buying other studios and stuff, and that might be fun to hypothesize what studios they might get. But for now, this report that they came out with, they're kind of suggesting that they're wanting to reinforce their IP that they currently own, as well as get quicker turnaround on some of these games. But
crunch. Probably
the thing that got the most headway out of all of this was they literally say, the last line here in their games report is, "We will explore expanding our first-party titles to the PC platform in order to promote further growth in our profitability." And I just wanted to hear from you guys. I mean, I've talked a lot about PlayStation this week, so I just wanted to know, I guess, with the idea that they're trying to get out these games quicker, do you see that as them expanding what they currently have, or do you think they're like crunch is going to be the worst thing ever at a Sony studio? And how do we feel about the games going to PC, and when do we think some of these games will arrive, and what do you think the outline will be going into the PlayStation 5?
Me or Jamie?
Yeah, I think stuff coming to PC was always going to happen. They've seen the success of putting Death Stranding, Horizon, Detroit. They've all sold really well on PC, and I think they just need to do it, and it puts them in line with Microsoft. But the differentiator here will be it's not going to be day and date. It's going to be 2 or 3 years down the road. And as for the building things out, building studios out and making games come out quicker, all that sings to me is crunch, because you've only got to look at Naughty Dog as an example. Like, if you can't keep pushing these studios because you're going to get found out, and if you get found out, we've seen the way that the internet can backlash now, and I don't think Sony will want to risk their brand reputation on that, although it wouldn't be out of character for them to do something, put a foot wrong unintentionally, even when everybody's telling them not to. They're quite good at that, resting on their laurels and thinking, no, we know best, and then they get stomped on. So yeah, I hope they don't do that, but I can see it happening a mile away.
I see this as they're trying to get an answer to Game Pass and the flow of games coming at a regular pace, because Game Pass this year's been pretty good as far as the exclusives that we've had. Then granted, there are a lot of smaller experiences, but you can get them on Game Pass and Game Pass for PC, and it's still under the Xbox Studios banner and all that stuff. So I think they're looking at that and going, well, our PS Now sucks. It's just not on the same level. Maybe they're just trying to get that built up, or start planning for stuff. I do also mirror that same kind of concern about the crunch. Like, if they're going to start investing in more smaller studios or whatever to start just pumping out content, that's not the right idea, I don't think. I literally do think this is just a decision just in response to Xbox's game strategy going forward. But the whole PC release thing, I mean, that's just a no-brainer. Like Jamie said, that was inevitable, I think. And it's just funny to see the social media commentary on it. All of the fanboys are like, they used to just give Xbox shit like constantly for releasing their games on PC. Like, oh, they don't have any exclusive anymore because they're on PC. But now it's happening to PlayStation as well. It's like, eat your own ass, man. Like, it's the way the world's going, and the more places people can play your games, the better, and you're going to get more of it, hopefully. So it's just positives, man. And like, Jamie, your world, like, you've said a number of times, like, if you could have it just all on PC, you would, you'd give up the consoles if you could just do it all on PC. And I think that's just where they're all going. And Xbox has been doing that and gearing that up for the last few years.
Exactly.
So, and Game Pass, xCloud and all that stuff, the cloud streaming on your mobile. I mean, it's just the way it is. I wouldn't be surprised if the whole thing with Sony dealing with Microsoft and their Azure servers, they might have their own answer coming soon as well for that, like their own cloud streaming on mobile, like xCloud. So I think it's a lot of positives for everybody, but the developers, they're the ones that might suffer the most.
Yeah.
The last
100%.
couple of numbers I'll throw out, they also put out on the 30th of April, PS Now only has 2.2 million subscribers to it. PlayStation Plus paid subscribers has 45 million, and they've sold 112.1 million units globally. So those last two as of the 30th of June. PS Now, I think going in PlayStation 5, that has to be incorporated somewhere else, because they won't want those figures that low. There are more VR headsets out there than there is PlayStation Now subscriptions. So
Wow.
Yeah, we will see.
I was unaware of that. Yeah, we'll see how that goes. They might even do it at Microsoft and just roll it all into one subscription.
I mean, you've got to eventually, right? You have to feel like that's the long-term plan, isn't it?
Get more consumer focused. Get more people interested in your stuff. So yeah, that was it. That was the last topic we got on the list here, boys. Yeah, cool. I'm excited for Mario still. Do you think they're going to bring out a limited edition 35th anniversary, like, shadow drop between now and March?
A console?
Yeah.
Yeah, probably. He'll get a themed console or themed Joy-Cons or something.
Yeah.
Probably come out
I'm hanging
April
out for
1st.
Oh, don't do that to me. That's mean. It'll be the new Switch. It'll be super powerful, and it's going to be all pretty in Mario.
No,
and I'm going to be
your
wham.
new Switch is going to be with Zelda. They're going to stick to what they did with Breath of the Wild.
Fair enough. I'll let you have that one. And I'll let everybody else have their freedom back as we reach the end of episode 26 of the Let's Talk Games podcast. Thank you, gentlemen, again for joining me this evening. And it's always a good time, fun, fluffy topics. Everybody enjoy yourselves. Stay safe out there. Follow us all on Twitter. You can see it on the screen and all that. We're funny people, and we like conversing with people at distance. So good evening and goodbye. Good morning, wherever you are. Stay safe. Bye.
Bye.
Wash your hands.